So Eric, what is this?
This is the JR-15. So what we have here is a scaled down AR-15 in polymer. It also weighs 2.2 pounds, and it's about a 20% reduction in size. So it fits the kids really well, and that'll give them the confidence to hold this thing the way they should have confidence holding. It's also just great. It just fits them. It fits them really well.
Yeah, and that's, I've got kids, and so they're now 8 and 10, right? And so they both started shooting age 3-ish. I think one of them was just under 3, one of them just over 3, but they've been shooting for as long as I could have guns around, right?
That's awesome, Barrett.
That's awesome, Barrett. That's owner of WEE1 Tactical showing off their new JR-15. As he pointed out there, it is a miniature child-sized version of the AR-15. They go into more details about all that goes into this gun that they've developed so that you can make sure your child is shooting at 3 years old without lugging around dad's big heavy gun that's sitting on the table. They weren't done yet. There's more details.
Got to teach them about the dangers and the risks, but we also have to educate them and take away that curiosity. But one of the biggest challenges is guns aren't made, for a 5-year-old to be able to shoot. They're made for adults typically. And so when I came by and saw this yesterday, it excites me. It's going to be very hard to put an adult gun in someone's hand that isn't an adult and they cannot reach it. And so I like this. And so this is a 22 long rifle. It is super light. So 2 pounds.
2.2 pounds.
So 2.2 pounds.
He went through a lot of things there that I don't think they understand exactly how this looks. Actually, no, they completely understand how it looks, but it's a completely different a dimension of life here. So he said, my kid's been shooting since around age 3-ish. And we saw the picture of his child holding a gun, leaning on the table. And guns aren't made for a 5-year-old to shoot. That's right. That's correct. Also, it's gonna be hard to put an adult gun in kids' hands. Again, correct. Maybe they shouldn't be holding guns. Maybe they shouldn't be learning how to shoot their new JR-15. It's a cute name, by the way. The JR-15, put it in your 3-year-old's hands and make sure that he can learn how to shoot up as many people as possible. Now, I know people who know about this project are gonna push back and say, did you really even read about it or listen to what they said? Yes, they start off by saying that there's a single bullet in the chamber to start them off, so that they're not mowing down entire fields of people that they can find. It's one shot, so they can shoot one person at a time. Then he says we're gonna graduate to maybe 3 to 5 in the chamber, and some are pushing up for us to get up to 20. Is 20 too much for a 3 to 5-year-old to push? Now they're also pushing a bunch of safety measures. There's a lock on it that says if you turn the back, then the child's hands can't untwist the safety. So once you have the safety up, they can't really ever do it. Then the owner of WEE1 admitted, well, if you have a 12-year-old, yeah, he can probably have strong enough hands to open it up then. So it's from 3 to 12-year-olds. Which children should be using this extremely lightweight gun that's really easy to use and teaches kids how to shoot as soon as possible? Now they point out it's a sporting thing. I hear you. Maybe you're shooting some clay objects that are shooting up in the sky. Maybe you're duck hunting. I don't know. But for some reason, we have this obsession with making sure that we're getting our children to shoot as soon as possible, as quickly as possible, and learning about it. So if you learn about it, he said, yeah, they're curious. They see dad's guns hanging around the house. Maybe dad's guns shouldn't be hanging around the house for them to be curious about. You know what I like to do? I like to drive. I like to put together old school cars that are loud and smell like gasoline. You know what my kid likes? He's like, this is very cool, Dad. I'd like to drive the car. You know what I haven't done yet? I haven't put him behind the wheel and said, have at it, kid. Here's a couple phone books and here's a couple of extensions for your feet so you can press the pedals and run into anybody. I don't do that, but I've told him many times, I can't wait until you're 16 so I can teach you how to drive, kid, because I would love to do that. I can share that experience with him. I get you want to share your experiences with your child about shooting, but you can't, not that you can't do it right now, but think about why you want to do it right now. And think about the implications of that. Think about children who get their hands on their parents' guns and go, I can think of a better way to use this thing. That kid at school keeps bullying me. Here's some more devastating details for this. WEE1 Tactical launched the JR-15 earlier this month, and that's at that annual trade show that I just showed you guys there. And it's the National Shooting Sports Foundation. It's based in Newtown, Connecticut. If that sounds familiar, that's where a gunman with an AR-15 murdered 26 people at Sandy Hook Elementary School in 2002. Now, I know that this particular company didn't set up the trade show, didn't make sure it was in Newtown, where ironically it's where children were shot up. And for some reason, we still don't care about that. But you have to understand some of the optics here. You have to understand that people lost their children in this, and you're promoting something for more children to get their hands on the kinds of weapons that killed their children in this very same town. Other critics of the new rifle took aim at the gun maker. It was WEE1, which is also selling swag, which features cartoon skulls with baby pacifiers. One with bows and pigtails and another with a mohawk. Oh, isn't that cute? Oh, look, you can be a little boy with a mohawk with your pacifier and a little girl with pigtails and your pacifier. And look at their eyeballs. If you look closely at their each of their right eyeballs, that's a target. That's a gun target in their eyeballs. That's cute. Isn't that cute? Don't you want your kids to be skulls and maybe have some targets in their eyes? Maybe somebody might shoot them there one day. It's something to aspire to. So anyways, more about the gun safety. I just want to point this out more specifically. Our goal is what they point out in their press release. Our goal from day one is to develop a shooting program, a shooting platform, that was not only sized correctly and safe, but also looks, feels, and operates just like mom and dad's gun. Safety was so much at the forefront of our thought process that we developed and planted a tamper-resistant safety that puts the adult in control of the firearm safety switch. That's what I described to you earlier. He showed it in that video. There's a little knob in the back. You flip the safety and you turn it. Now, if we have adults that don't know how to really do that half the time, end up shooting themselves, pick up their gun, shoot their children, shoot their spouses, shoot their neighbors on accident, or leave their gun in the bathroom, which we've seen that happen. What do you think the level of responsibility that may be between a parent and their 3-year-old? Oh man, I'm sorry, honey. I just forgot to turn the safety back off. My bad. Anyways, if you're thinking about this imagery and this strategy of making sure that you have this next generation of gun lovers and gun buyers, let's keep it real, gun buyers. This guy's selling guns. He's not, of course, he loves the gun culture because it's part of his business, it's his profession, it's what he does. He develops little guns so they can make sure you have the next sweep of gun people. Just like cigarettes back in the day, isn't that weird? I wanna make sure you guys understand this. Don't you remember back in the day when cigarettes were just this wild, it's good for you, doctors were promoting it. There was ads with doctors with cigarettes in their hands, and it was just this normal thing. In fact, it was put in cartoons, it was directed at children, and it was not a mistake. In fact, remember this?
Gee, we ought to do something, Fred. Okay, how's about taking a nap? I got a better idea. Let's take a Winston break. That's it. Winston is the one filter cigarette that delivers flavor 20 times a pack. Winston's got that filter blend. Yeah, Fred. Filter blend makes the big taste difference, and only Winston has it up front where it counts. Here, ahead of the pure white filters. Winston packs rich tobaccos specially selected and specially processed for good flavor in filter smoking. Yeah, Barney, Winston tastes good like a cigarette should.
The Flintstones has been brought to you by Winston, America's best-selling, best-tasting filter cigarette.
Winston tastes good like a cigarette should.
That was normal. And now it's not. People maybe post those types of things and go, oh man, you can't believe how quickly this will get canceled. There's a reason behind it because they're targeting it towards the folks that will watch those types of shows. Now I understand Flintstones was pushed to everyone, but I was a kid and I watched some Flintstones. I mean, and if you see Winston, this actually looks a little familiar when cigarettes were just pushed so easily, and I'm not even that old, but cigarettes were pushed like this because they were looking to indoctrinate the next group of people to lessen the thought process behind the dangers of it. It's 101. If you don't believe me, there was actually an American Lung Association randomly just even this year, just this month, they put out these damning admissions from back in the day from cigarette makers that were talking about how they're grooming this next wave of buyers. So just this first one I'm gonna read. Evidence, this is from R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. Evidence is now available to indicate that the 14 to 18-year-old group is an increasing segment of the smoking population. RJRT must soon establish a successful new brand in this market if our position in the industry is to be maintained over the long term. Business, business, business. We need to make sure the children are prepared and indoctrinated, and now in the culture to make sure they're buying it when they can. And it worked. That was from 1976. The next longer quote I'm not gonna read is from 1984 that basically said, if we don't get enough people into this, we're gonna fail. Our business is gonna fall apart because the current people that we have within our grips and within our buying group are dying. Why are they dying? Wonder. Crazy how that works. But now we're doing it with guns. So children, pick up your guns, make sure you know all about them, make sure you have the next step of maybe getting bored with shooting a couple targets. Maybe you want to take it out on someone else. These things happen. I'm not saying it happens for everyone, but if it happens once, that's one too many times. You can wait till your kid is old enough to learn about your guns and is able to pick one up enough without it falling in front of them. If you have a problem with the gun falling in front of your child, maybe the kid shouldn't have a gun. The guy said it best. Guns aren't made for 5-year-olds. They're not.